Hey there, lovely people, and welcome to Messages from the Heart, where we can take some time out from the constant external noise and just take a moment to focus inward and listen to the quiet and ever-present voice of our heart. So this is my very first video in my new home. So my beautiful new home by the beach with a sea view. I don't know if you can see the sea view behind me, but this is the best spot I could get so there wasn't too much sunlight and too much glare on the video. I've been here about 8 weeks now and absolutely loving it. I am exactly where I'm meant to be, so I'm really happy to be here. I'm very, very grateful that it's all come about. But it wasn't without a lot of hard work, but it has all come about and I'm very, very grateful. And I thought that my first video here was going to be about how this all came about and the process and all of that. But when I asked today what was most needed to be heard today, I got a different message. So perhaps that video can be for another day. But the message for today is truth. So I know this is thought about a lot, I guess, by many of us, and it is one of the things that I think challenges a lot of us as well, not insofar as truth or lie, but insofar as truth in relation to clarity and what that means to us when we are being clear and how, I'm using the word competent, are we at being clear? So I just wanted to, I was listening to a podcast this morning and that sort of came into it, this, not what I'm saying, but the thing about truth and what is truth and all of that. So I'd just like to give my take and on this and my thoughts on this, and perhaps this can stimulate some thoughts for you as well. And the reason I believe this is important, for an important topic for us to think about, is because truth is majorly how most of us live our life, and that is truth, what is true for us. So what is true for us as an individual may be completely way off base for other people. And if we look at the world globally, we can see this in terms of how people what people believe is their truth. So it's about beliefs and all of that kind of thing, and how truth can change. Well, truth does change. Truth changes constantly, and even within us as individuals, because who we were last week is a little bit different this week. So there's a difference from who we were last week to who we are this week, who will be next month, who will be next year, in relation to how far into what we have learned and what we have experienced during this time. We change and hopefully we grow. So our truth changes somewhat. And I would just like to present the thought that truth depends really on the lens that you are looking through, like what angle you are looking at a situation or a person. And it's sort of linked with judgment as well. But let's stay with the truth part. So, for example, I could be, when we look at a painting, we can look at a painting close up and it looks a certain way. But if we look at it from further back, we see so much more than we saw when we were close up. So the truth that we see in any given moment may not be all that there is. It may be a narrow vision, for example, as well, like where I am in this beautiful spot here. I can see my outdoor table and chairs, I can see my balcony, I can see the scene behind me. But if I were in a helicopter, I could see that I'm not the only person here, that there's quite a lot of other stuff. There's a beautiful park over there. I could actually see more of the ocean, like the ocean would be huge compared to what I can see here. And also when we think about when we take photos of certain things, or even when we are in a photo, and often we say, oh, I don't like myself in photos, and but then we might see a photo of us from a different angle and we think, oh gee, I like that, that's nice. but it's still us. We weren't any different than we were before in a different photo. So it's just the angle of what we're looking at things. So my question would be, if we are challenged by a certain thing in how we see something, or if we find ourselves being judgmental about someone or a situation or world events, or getting caught up emotionally in stuff, perhaps we could take a step back and just think, how else could I see this? What else am I not seeing? What would be a bigger picture? So I think that's important, because, as I said earlier, I believe this is how we live our life, according to whatever we believe is true for us. But it may be that we are not seeing nearly as much as what is actually there. I mean, it may not, it's definitely the case. We never really see exactly all of what is there, because we're seeing through our own lens, through our own experiences, and through our beliefs and education and what we are interested in. All of that kind of stuff creates a lens for us to view things. So I think a good question would be, when we're challenged with a situation, even if we're not, even out of curiosity, just to ask ourselves the questions, how else could I see this? And how would someone else view this? How would someone else from another country view this? How would the other person that I find myself becoming annoyed at, how would they view this? And it doesn't mean we have to agree or disagree or not stay with our own opinion and thing, but it just means to keep an open mind and an open heart. And so that if we can do that in relation to our life, we are then living from a more open perspective, a more expanded lens, and we can see more of what there is, and perhaps make better choices for ourselves, and we can relate this to our health, to our relationships, to our work, to anything. All right, well, I hope that this has been helpful. As always, let's love ourselves enough to do this. Ciao for now, and much love.